I've had these chairs for a good number of years. They used to be a deep rust color. I painted them to sit in my store as a display piece, and they've been moved several times. They've been banged and bruised and are dirty. So last week, we started the makeover by giving them a good clean, painting the backs peony pink, the seats in a very light pink, and the backs we're doing a mural. So we want to give this a good background. If you haven't checked it out, go back and check out last week's video where I started the makeover. Now let's get started with making these into works of art. So last week we sanded all the paint off down to raw wood, and now we're going to stain them with Dixie Belle's gel stain, which is in the color American Honey. And now I'm just taking this artist brush and going and wiping it on just above or just right next to where the fabric is. And then I'm taking a rag and dipping it in and wiping it on so that it's not super thick and it's not super dark. I wanted just a nice light coat of the stain. And then I just take another section of the rag and I wipe off any of the excess. And we can let it dry while we paint the rest of the chair. Here is the sample that I did for the seats. It is just taking a larger round brush and making dots, and then taking a smaller round brush and making smaller dots. And then we'll do a solid pink on the back of the chair, it'll stay solid, I should say. So I'm just making abstract looking dash marks with that larger brush, and then I'll fill in with the smaller brush. And what I'm kind of creating is semi-abstract animal print. I don't know whether this would be like a snow leopard or something of that. I don't know, some sort of animal print, but it's abstract and it's bright pink. So obviously it's not supposed to look realistic. This was probably the funnest part of the project. You know, those projects that just fall into place and everything goes well? Yeah, that wasn't this project. This one has been a chore. Yeah, look what I did. Smudge that right there. Moved them too quickly. They weren't dry yet. Now I gotta fix it somehow and try to make it look natural. Ha ha. So frustrating. Why can't I just be patient? So I cut out a butterfly on a piece of brown paper. And what I'm going to do is tape this up here and then outline it with chalk so that I have general idea of where I want the butterfly. And then we're going to fill that in with white. So when I paint the colors of the butterfly and of the flowers, it has the true color and not showing through the dark background. Then we're just going to mirror that on the other side with the same process. Did you know that YouTube just surpassed Netflix as a streaming platform? Me either. I know I watch YouTube on TV and you might as well. So if you are watching on TV and you have your phone nearby, I've got a QR code right up here. Take your phone out and just go ahead and scan it and it'll take you to my channel. And if you're enjoying these videos and don't want to miss one, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Now back to the project. Let's finish filling in those butterflies with white. All right, so this is the other chair, and I have the shape of the butterfly blocked out, and then I've blocked out where I want the flowers. I want these to be big peonies with some roses and some hibiscus and some greenery. So I've just got it roughed in. It looks like nothing right now. So fingers crossed I make this into something here pretty soon. So I'm just going to now I'm just going to go in and, fill in. We don't want to leave any white, obviously, and the body and all that good stuff. So I've had to kind of shut the camera off, put on some music real loud, and just kind of lose myself a little bit because I was all up in my head. So I haven't painted like this in a very long time. So I'm rusty and I need to kind of get more confident and kind of let the jitters go. So don't be afraid if you're trying something new to just, step away for a minute, crank up the music and just let it go. So I've moved the chairs back over this direction. Excuse all the chaos in the background, but it's just helping me to then see where they're going to be placed this direction. So I'm trying to make sure I'm in the right color family. I'm trying to make sure that, you know, they're going to flow with what is up there and not be too harsh or too clashing. So I don't want to take away from the beautiful mural that's on the wall. So I'm trying to make it coordinate, if you will. All right, so can you see my inspiration pick over there? That's a fabric. So I'm like, that's what I'm trying to duplicate. So that's what we're going to be going with. So let's find, I need a real big chunky brush, and I'm using all chalk paint. So all the Dixie Belle chalk base paint. So I want to have my Mr. bottle, and here's all my, put them all on my little plate here to give me a palette. And I like to give it a spritz. I like to do it every so often to keep it moist because it does dry out. And I'm going to give where I'm painting a little spritz too, so that the paint flows on the fabric much better. I also have a little cup of water as well, and some paper towels. So hopefully I've got everything ready. We're going in. When I practice this, I can do this, right? Pumping myself up. So we're going to get that brush kind of damp, and we want this center to be quite dark. So I'm going to take some of that red and put that right in there. And then let's start. I want this to be a corally hot pink, like this one darker, and then these on a lighter, more muted scale. That's the plan anyways. So I'm going to take a little red and a little bit of this pink, and I've kind of halved it on my brush. And we're going to kind of, it might be a little too wet. We're going to kind of start getting these petals in here. Kind of like this. It comes up and around. Peonies are very, wrapped up and around. So that's what we're kind of going for up here. I kind of come like this. It's very difficult to do without getting my head in the shot. But we're going to kind of start building these petals through here. Like this. And we have several that are going to come out like this. And then those coming in like that. Yeah, I think so. I don't really know. Now I got a little white to kind of get that up in there. So you can see these better. And they're like that. Okay, I'm going to try to move the camera so I can get in front of this, and maybe we can get maybe a side angle or something, because right now I'm at the wrong angle. I can't get in there. I got to get in front of it. All right, now let's see. This we can do better. So we're going to come up in here. Really bring these up and around. And we'll get this. We can see where everything is. And then I think we're getting there. And then there's lots of things that are just kind of dippity-doo around here. And we got some more coming like this. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. It's just more of the same thing over and over again, and I'm trying to really just kind of work it out. So I'm going to try to go a little faster for you. So hopefully it isn't as boring. Um I am, like I said, I haven't painted like this in a while, and I'm kind of working all the kinks out as I go. And as I said before, this project did not all fall into place the first time around. Not at all. All right, so here's a close look. I kind of have it. I wanted it more this color with just some darker highlights of the hot or the pink, but I've gotten it much more pink than I want it. And so I'm going to stop for right now, and then I'll come back and kind of add more highlights and more depth and see where we go from there. Right now it's okay, but we just gotta hone it in. But I'm gonna let that dry, and we're gonna work on this one down here. And again, it's the same thing. I'm just finding where that center is going to be angled, and this one definitely comes out more corally, or it's the Dixie Belle Flamingo and Cottage Door, I believe, the colors that kind of mixing together with some white and some yellow, and just kind of putting them together to create this light peachy apricot-y color. That is the color in the mural and in on that buffet that's in my office. So I'm trying to, coordinate with those colorings. Uh, I'm actually kind of liking this one a little better. I don't. Maybe it's more I go, the better it gets. But well, actually, I got to bring this. I'm gonna keep covering up the white, but we're getting there slowly but surely. We're getting there. Now we're going to work on the hibiscus that's up top. And as you can see, a lot more has been done. And well, I'll explain here in a second. But we're just adding some yellow highlights, some coral, some red, some white, and really trying to give this hibiscus some depth because it's at an awkward angle. I had a really hard time with it. It still doesn't look exactly right, but I just went with it. I had to call it quits at a certain point. Now we'll just add a little bit of that. It's a darker red color that I'm adding in to create the depth. Like that rose is behind the peony and the peony is in the front. So I'm just trying to create some of that depth and then put in a few more highlights with the white. And again, the same thing with this peony that is off to the left-hand side. I'm adding the red in to create that depth. And then because I added the red, I had to add more highlights and then just clean everything up really well. All I'm doing is just trying to add a little more distinction between petals and adding veining and just more depth, like I said before. And now we'll just add a little bit of yellow highlights, a really light yellow to these green leaves to make them kind of come alive a little bit. Well, I think it's done. I think I want to add a little more detail to the body, but for the most part, she's done. And I do apologize. I think I left off somewhere down in this section, but I definitely questioned my life choices through this one. I had to kind of keep walking away and coming back. And as I was doing that, I kind of forgot to press record a few times. So I kind of just, when I felt it, I got in the zone, got back into it. And unfortunately, I thought I had pressed record and I didn't. So that's my fault and I apologize. But here she is. Here it is. It's supposed to look like fabric. And if you've ever seen anything printed on fabric, it's not exact. It's not super realistic. So that's what I was going for. Would I do a few things differently next time? Yeah, I would. But it's been fun. Like I said, if I don't like it, I'll just paint over it. And no harm, no foul. These are chairs to just have fun with. But I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. So we'll see. So here was my practice, and I'm so glad that I did practice because I'm not loving it. I was thinking of doing the floral background with the butterfly on there. Basically, it's a painted butterfly on this side. The other side will be florals in the shape of a butterfly. So I don't know. It's just way too busy, but I gotta get this going, and so I think I'm just going to go ahead, paint the butterfly, and then worry about the background after. And as you can see, this board is much wider. So actually the chair kind of comes like that. So you wouldn't even see, you know what I mean? There's only this much space. So you wouldn't even see much of that floral background. So I may not need it, but I don't know. We'll see. I just got to push forward. So let's grab some paintbrushes and all my paint and we'll get going. So we're just going to base coat basically all the same colors that were in the flowers is what we're trying to duplicate on this side. Because ideally what we're trying to do is make it look like it was one butterfly. It's just one wing is florals and the other is a butterfly wing. So I'm starting with that corally color and then some red, and then we'll blend that together. At first, I was really thinking I wanted a really soft graduation of the different colors, and kind of an airiness to it, like a butterfly, of course. But you'll see there was a little plot twist coming down the line. So we're just, like I said, we'll take some of that hot pink along the edges and some yellow in the middle to create some brightness. And when you have that drastic change from the hot pink color to the yellow, it really, it gives it that depth and just that wow factor, I guess you could say. I'm just trying to come up with some sort of pattern here at the bottom, trying to recreate something that would look similar to what a butterfly would be. But like I said, just quite abstract, because this is fabric after all, and we're not trying to make something uber realistic. Okay, so I have kind of a base down. I have everything kind of blended in. I added some blue in there with my second coat. But since I want to have it similar to, similar style to my flowers, I need to add like more brush strokes in here. I love the softness of this, but I really need to kind of add some of those brush strokes in so that it coordinates with the other chair. So that's what we'll be doing right now. Issue I'm having is I don't really know what I want it to look like. So I don't want that brush. Join me as I try to just work this out. I have no idea where I'm going just yet. Like I said, I was trying to create more brush strokes. How exactly I was going to get it to, look similar to the other side, the other chair, I didn't know yet. So please bear with me. Hold tight. Get yourself a good drink. And wait for it. It does get better. Trust me. It's better, but it's feeling like feathers. It's feeling like angel wings instead of butterfly wings. So let me see. What else can I do? Let's try a different brush. Let's just kind of keep going. We'll see. Let's see what it does. Give it a little more straighter lines, maybe. That feels a little better, but I'm gonna turn this off for a minute, play with this for a while, and then come back. All right, now I feel like I'm feeling it a little better. I'm headed in a little more of a direction. I covered up the blue. It just looked off. And so I went with more straighter lines because I was trying to create those brush strokes and trying to create some highlights and some depth in there. I was trying to work through it, but my little man, he's just a little persistent when it comes dinner time. So I just am continuing on that kind of like a hash mark back and forth kind of stroke. It's no real, scientific here, but I'm also spritzing as I go along because with the chalk style paint, it does dry much, much quicker. I missed my palette as well just to keep things flowing. And I noticed it needed more pink. I kept looking back to the chair, the other chair, I should say, and just trying to see how things looked together. Now we'll just add some highlights here in the body. And then I stepped back. I gave my little man some dinner and I got looking at both chairs and I realized they still just don't match. There's way too much yellow for one. And then it's just they just don't meld together. So I came up with this plan. I kind of made these tadpole like shapes with the different colors and kind of varied them throughout the wing, kind of creating, the little pockets that are in a butterfly's wing. And I think it works. I think it's working together. And then I'm just going around the edge with a dark red to give that contrast and give that, the depth. The very tips of butterfly wings tend to be much darker than the rest of the body. Even though we're not going super realistic, we want to have, some similarization, if that's a word, to what a butterfly would actually look like. And so then I'm bringing some more of that red kind of throughout the whole thing. And then adding some kind of a dot feature in the body to with the lighter color in the middle and then going to the hot pink and then red on the outside so that it gives more of a little roundness to the body. But y'all look at that. Do you see what I see? Unbelievable. I told you it wasn't an easy project. Okay, as you see, my antennas are completely off. The height of my bodies are completely off. We need these to be more symmetrical and the same coloring. So we're gonna do some work in here to fix that. We're just going to take some of that deep peel and just paint over it. That was the wrong brush. I'll take some of that over here. And the reason why I say that was the wrong brush, because that was my blending brush. Y'all, if these get done and I don't completely ruin something, it's going to be a miracle. Because it has been a catastrophe of a week. Not that you guys care to hear all that moaning and groaning, but yeah, it's just been fun. Let's put it that way. And see where I touched up here, that doesn't blend in very well. So let's just get that to blend in better. the other thing is this one, see where the neck is? This is down and this one's here. So let's see, let's cut it down a little bit. The other thing is that, see over here how there isn't much white, but when you look at this side, sorry about that, when you look at this side, I have white highlights on things. And so there's not enough white on that side. So that's what we're going to do. Now, let's put you up there. I just took a fine artist brush and I'm making sure I keep it quite damp because, again, that helps that paint flow since it does dry out so quickly. I'm just adding white to the tips of each of those sections where, you know, like I said, I called it tadpole kind of shapes, but some of them are really abstract looking, but just trying to add more white, more of a brush stroke kind of look to this side of the butterfly. So I think that's a little better. And I'm just going to continue to kind of add some more white in here. And then we'll work on this back here on this butterfly after this dries. So we'll just continue adding white throughout it, kind of creating like the highlights of where the veining and whatnot would be on a butterfly. Just, again, trying to get both sides to match. So then I took a little bit of that deep teal and I mixed it with the red to create a really dark red or purpley red that will go around the edges of the butterfly just to get it to pop a little more. It's a little tricky around all these flowers and leaves, but we're just doing our best to kind of just go around the edges. And then we'll add some of the hot pink like that's around the trim and bring it into the center of the bodies. And now let's add those antennas in a more symmetrical way this time around. I'm doing them a little less straight just to, I don't know, it just felt right this time. Having the chairs both together have definitely helped it. I'm at a bad angle, but the bodies at the bottom are a little more symmetrical as well. Then we'll just take a little yellow to add some highlights so that you can tell that they're coming down more in the center of the head and not just off the back of the head. And a little yellow to the faces or the heads of these bodies. All right, I think we're done. I'm going to step back again, kind of look at the overall, make sure everything is proportionately right. The flowers are a little off, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, and then just kind of touch up anything else that kind of needs to be cleaned up. And we're good to go. Left side of the wing came out. At first I was like, ugh, I don't know about this. It looks kind of cheesy, but in the end, it actually looks perfect with the flowers from the other side. All right, now it's time to wax them. Whenever I paint on fabric, I like to use a wax, and this is Dixie Belle's clear wax. And then I'm using a natural bristle brush and a rag, and you'll see why in just a second. But I like to dip the brush in and use a circular motion to really get it in there and on all of the fibers. Just like when I'm painting it, I like that circular motion to get into all the nooks and crannies. I'm also doing the legs with the wax. These are going to be sitting in my office and hopefully won't get too much wear and tear, even though my grandkids have given them a run for their money already. But you really can't destroy these chairs. So then once the wax is all on there, I like to take the rag and take off any of the excess. So don't be alarmed if you see that it's really white to begin with. It does dry clear. you're going to need a bit of elbow grease. I will just warn you with that because my arms were burning when I got done with this. I haven't done it in so long. So it definitely it gave my arms and my shoulder quite the workout. It was worth it though in the end, and it actually makes it really good to clean once you put the wax on it as well. So here they are sitting in my office. And I have to say, as much turmoil as these chairs gave me, when I walk through here, I get a glimpse of these chairs and I say to myself, oh, thank goodness, I do love them. I I think they came out great and they're just fun. And you know what? It sparks the creativity for me while I'm in my workshop, in my workspace. So that I am very happy about. But you know what they say about when you give a mouse a cookie, you want to do another project, and that's what I want to do in here. It even looks so beautiful at night. So since I did this project, I now have about 4 or 5 others that I want to get done in this office space. So please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on what I'm going to do next.